I was gone for most of the weekend, and people have been asking me for my take on Iran and Israel, so here's my take. First, if you guys want to like the video, would appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon in the link tree in the bio. I can't get monetized on this channel right now for whatever reason, so that's the best way to help. I would appreciate it. And all my other socials where I post different content is in my link tree in my bio, including TikTok and Instagram. So this is kind of the situation. Israel bombed a Iranian consulate in Syria, and it killed 13 people. Iran responded with a drone strike as well as cruise and ballistic missiles, none of which seemed to have landed. The reporting I saw on this from Al Jazeera said that the only person that was hurt was a 7-year-old girl severely injured by catching shrapnel. And this is a problem that I have with the left frequently is I saw a lot of people praising the attack by Iran. It's like, finally, they've responded and all this. But if you're going to maintain consistency, maintain consistency. It was a child got hurt. People get hurt in war. And if you're going to be consistent, if you want to be righteous, you need to advocate for none of this happening. I think unless there was, in the situation of Ukraine, there's not another option besides Ukraine being involved in this fight because it would result in genocide. But in general, don't praise attacks on people and things like that. It's just not a good look. I said really early on in the channel, if you guys are new here, really early on in when the attack on October 7th happened, that Netanyahu was not going to listen to Biden under any circumstance, that he would be uncontrollable. The Biden administration needed to detach themselves from Netanyahu and set up a red line. Not only a red line, but stand on it. If you do this, we're out. And the Biden administration has been reluctant to do that as of late, and as a result, we see this conflict continue to be prolonged. I'm not sure how much leverage the United States has behind the scenes over Israel, and how much us leveraging it would make them stop. So the Biden administration is kind of in a difficult position. The difficult position is you have a guy that will not listen. You cannot control. He is barreling you towards a war with Iran and a larger war in the region. And if you attempt to stop him, right, then you put in a position where Iran's going, the United States isn't backing them anymore. We can do whatever we want now. So it's this catch-22 where there's a potential for war no matter what you take. The only way out for the Biden administration is if you get Netanyahu out. That's it. That's the only reasonable way that you're going to resolve this, that you're going to stop what's happening in Gaza, that you're going to resolve the issues between Iran and Israel right now. Because if you can't get him removed, Netanyahu's not going to listen. He doesn't care. His political life, he personally depends on remaining in power. And you have to get him out any way possible. Again, not sure what leverage the United States would use in that regard, but they have to take a hard stance in this. People were asking, do I think that this is going to result in World War III? The answer to that is no. Israel is very aggressive right now. Iran, though, is shockingly more calculated than Israel. And if you guys are over on TikTok, I posted a video about this. It was a pretty predictable outcome of what Iran was going to do. Iran likes to use a show of force and say, we won, look, we have all this show of force, take that. They did the same thing with Donald Trump when he killed Soleimani. They shot off missiles at a base, but not in it. And it was a show of force. Now, hundreds of Americans got permanent brain damage. That's a different story. But they like to use a show of force. And in this instance, that's what they did. And the United States, predictably, along with Israel and Jordan, shot down pretty much all of them, or most of what came through. I think that what's really important here is, what is Israel's response going to be? Because we know what Iran's response was. It was predictable. It was a show of force. Iran doesn't really want a larger conflict in the region, in large part because in that Sunni-Shia split, the Shia, which is Iran, right, they're winning in the region. So a full-blown war could undermine the progress that they've made and the progress that they're going to make. They know it. It's pretty clear on that because they're doing things that are show of force, that are targeting low infrastructure targets, that are loud, but they're not really effective. So I think that for the most part, Iran does not want to start a war. That being said, there is a point where they're going to reach where they're just like, we're not going to put up with this anymore, right? Like that is for every country will do that. Like we're not going to put up with this, and that's what we need to be concerned. If right now Israel was to walk away, if they were just like, we won, we shot everything down, right? Or most stuff down, they could walk away and not respond, and they would look and have more credibility than they're going to have when they inevitably respond. So if Israel attacks, right, they kind of undermine that, because right now they're giving an out. They're giving an out where everybody wins, right? Israel can say we shot it all down. The U.S. can say we're in support. We're going to defend them. Iran can say, look, we did a show of force so that they, and they didn't respond. They took the message, and everybody wins. Everybody across the deal here wins. But Israel, in crazy person fashion, isn't acting like a rational actor. And I should say Bibi, but it's most of the government there as well, or a significant portion is not acting rationally. And you're going to end up in a situation where it's going to be a tit for tat until someone takes it too far, right? You see this with kids where they're playing, and then they get aggressive, and then they cross boundaries, and then suddenly it's an all-out fight. That's the fear that we have going forward. What's going to be important here is pay attention to Israel's response. Does Israel go overboard? I don't know. It appears as though an attack by Israel is imminent, and this could put us in a bad spot. And I think Biden knows it. Biden should be right now, if he's not already, on the phone with pretty much every diplomat in Israel, telling them not to do this, that the United States is going to start distancing themselves, because from a geopolitical perspective, this could end the potential issues between Iran and Israel, for now at least. It will, however, as Iran likes to do, operate proxies in the region, fund them more, be more of a disturber in that regard. And that may be one of the reasons that Israel is contemplating a serious response, is because they're frustrated and irritated about the funding from Iran and Syria towards Gaza and towards Lebanon. So I think that we need to pay attention to the response. If the response is significant, this could get out of hand real quick. The United States, though, absolutely needs to step in. The United States absolutely needs to stop this, because this has significant potential to result in a complete destabilization of the Middle East. I have no idea what it would look like, but you could imagine if Syria went back into war after previously coming out of a long civil war, and if Iran got involved. Again, I don't think it's particularly likely, but there is that potential there, and we should be cognizant of it. So I will say, I will give you my thoughts when Israel responds as to how it's going to look. But predominantly, Iran, shockingly, acts as a more rational actor, so I don't expect them to try and escalate, but they will respond. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you guys updated.